Okay, next question for both of you. I would like to know the most influential book and why. You got many influential books. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, one book. I think the idea of always searching for knowledge is more important than the actual single book. I mean, right now I'm reading this book on the war of electricity. It was AC versus DC.
Oh, yeah. The
Huge.
old electric chair.
Yeah.
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 It's a great story.
Like
It's a great story.
It almost split the nation.
Yeah.
It's like direct current or alternate current. But direct current's so much more powerful because I can take a little bit, 12 volts, and I can kill an elephant. But it takes 120 volts to do the same thing. So, Edison, he backed the wrong thing. Yeah. And he was too proud to admit it. And so I'm learning a ton. One about maybe putting your belief in the wrong thing and how damaging it can be, and how much damage you can do if you're that thick-skulled, stubborn, or just set in your ways, and how important it is to be able to always be a fertile soil that's searching for more nutrients.
There's no doubt about that, and I think that's one thing that's been coming out of this podcast is because I review books on the podcast, and I get all these people now telling me, read this book. I'm reading more right now than I did when I went to college and I was an English major in college. I got people just I'm getting books in the mail. One of the troopers just sent me Lone Wolf. He's like, hey, I sent you a book. This is 2 volumes of 700 pages each. I said, man, that's going to be on my list, but that's going to be a brutal read. I mean, that's going to be heavy. But absolutely reading all the time is what it's definitely happened to me. We know Echo has been on a reading rampage.
Big time.
Direct result of the podcast.
Nice.
True story.
Anybody that asked this question, there's only one book that I refer to all the time as the most influential book I've ever read, which is About Face by Colonel David Hackworth. And I've read it many times, and I always go back to it because it's a great book about a war and leadership, and that's why I read it all the time. But I got a stack of books.
Did you read fiction ever?
Barely.
So I split my time between fiction and nonfiction, and I get a ton. I love, especially in the times that we're in right now, reading like French Revolution era stuff. I love learning about the why of the thing. Why countless times the French people overthrew the government, why they went and they started beheading the rich class, why they went and hung, or then built the guillotine. Or there's the why of the thing, not the how. I get that, and whether it's like Alexander Dumas or Victor Hugo, it's like I get a lot out of that. And then I also get a ton of wisdom, when I'm reading like the Count of Monte Cristo, when that priest was digging with, who would then in the metamorphosis, as he's crawling through those tunnels and emerges then as the Count, the amount of wisdom that priest gave him about ruling governments. I look at that for our government right now,
right,
and it's profound. So I don't limit myself. While I love reading nonfiction and learning, like I am, like the book I'm reading right now, all based in real fact, marketing, science, engineering. I love going back, and it's not brain candy. It's not I'm just sitting here chewing on, some crap.
Tim Kennedy reading romance novels.
Yeah, I know. Smut. I get a lot so I split my time between fiction and nonfiction, 50-50.
Yeah, I don't. And sometimes I'll try. Like somebody will tell me about a great fiction book. Yeah. And I might give it a try. But in my perspective, you're talking about the why? I always like to figure out, like when I read about war, I like to think about the psychology of what's happening with the guys, especially from a leadership and a follower perspective of what guys were thinking, because that to me was always the most fascinating thing about what was going down. Was we got to get all these guys to do this, or my boss is trying to get me to do that, and how does that work in these most intense scenarios? So, from Tim Kennedy, get out there and read, people.